saying like I'm dying to take a shower, man. I want to shower.
Out of context.
Yeah, out of context. Welcome to the shower podcast. Where we watch Dan take a shower.
Hell yeah! It's for
we,
OnlyFans, bro.
we judge your technique of like washing your hair.
By Dan's
I actually
bathwater.
I actually changed the technique of how I wash my hair because I'm afraid of like hair loss.
What did you
Like, I
used
used
to
to-
go rough with it, and now you're
So
gentle?
like I used to like go like this and like grab my hair and like rinse like go in between, but now I kind of just like massage my hair. So like it prevents me from like grabbing my hair and like pulling it because like I used to do
go
that
like
and
this?
like no, so like I used to go like this like I first like get it in and then I grab it and then like I like pull like this to like
Why would
really
you
get
pull?
in between.
The shampoo
Yeah.
is literally like.
No. So like what I'll do is I'll like grab it and get it in between the hairs, you know. First like mix it around, and then like I'll like get it in between by like grabbing my hair. And so like I noticed that like
That is
after I do
so
that, like my
strange.
hand is just filled with hair. I'm like,
No,
oh,
but that's the
shit.
thing. That's the thing, though, right? Like naturally you lose hair,
Yeah, but like it was a lot. Like
and
like,
if you don't lose hair, if you don't like notice it like over time, like you'll get a bunch in your like hand as you shower, and that's why you're not supposed to like wash your
agree.
hair like every day.
Yeah, like I shampoo like. How often do you guys shampoo? Like I like shampoo once every 2 days because
Yeah.
like
Twice a week.
I do twice a week, yeah.
Twice.
I do like
Most-
once every 2.
I mostly do every time I shower, but sometimes I'll do it like not as thoroughly.
I used to do every day.
I used to do that too actually, but then I talked to my like hairstylist and she was like, "Don't shampoo every day. Like
Oh, do
that's
you?
just terrible."
Do you go to a salon too?
Yeah, I'm freaking Korean. I was born and raised going to a salon, man.
in a salon. I was born in a salon.
I was born and raised in a
Yeah.
salon, man.
Yeah.
I
that
merely
was
adapted
delivered.
to the salon. You were
Uh,
born
my
in the
dad-
salon.
My dad took me to like a Korean like barber shop where like it was like only guys who got their hair cut there, but I freaking hated it. I was like, this guy sucks. Like he has no idea how to cut like the hair
No
that I
technique.
want. Yeah, exactly. Like he like just freaking gave me like military buzz cut every time. I was like pissed off. So then
I used to get the buzz cut up until like high school.
Exactly. But then like one time I went with my mom to like her hairstylist and like they did it for me. I was like, I like this so much better than that one. But then like I ended up like finding one on my own in New York. But yo, it was so sad. Like over the winter break, I went to go get my haircut by like the hairstylist I've been getting my haircut for like the past 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And she had recently moved back to her family because of COVID and she no longer works there anymore. And I was like, fuck. So then I had to like find another hairstylist in that hair salon. And I wanted the best person in that place.
That is
So
the worst.
I asked for the boss to cut my hair. I was like, I want you to cut my hair. Like not your employees. Like I don't give a shit about them. Like I want you to cut my hair. And she cut it so well. So like I got her fucking business card and I'm going back to her again. Like I only get my hair cut in New York.
That's exactly what happened to me with my old barber. Actually, before I went to this barber up from like elementary school up until when was it? High school. I used to get like the buzz cut, like the military cut. And then I started growing out my hair like towards the end of like high school. And then when I went to Adelphi, actually I went to a new barber my friend was going to. They opened up like that year or whatever. And I had this Russian guy cutting my hair. And then for like 2 or 3 years he was cutting my hair and then he left. He like retired or whatever. And then I was like, shit, you know, like I have to get a new barber. And then I had to like take a chance on like 2 different barbers. The first guy that I switched to, he actually, when he was like lining up like like where my forehead is, he actually didn't like do it even straight. He was like too busy like talking to me and like making conversation.
Wait, was that guy
or whatever. I
also
was like,
Russian?
No, this
Oh,
actually,
okay.
yeah, he was
Oh,
the
I-
owner's.
Same thing happened to me. I was like a kid. I had a Russian barber, and he was on the phone the entire time he was cutting my hair.
No, he was talking to me.
Oh.
He was talking. He was talking to me. He was like, "Yo, how's your day going, bro? Yo,
Like, your
I saw
hairline's,
this
like, fucking,
girl
like-
last night. I went on a date last night." And I'm like, "Yo, are you actually like cutting my hair? Or you try to like have a conversation? Because I'm not paying you to have a conversation." And then I
totally-
noticed when I got home that my hairline wasn't straight. I was like, "Yo, you gotta fix this shit right now." You know,
Oh my
like
God.
that was
Oh.
insane.
All of Russia
And
has
then-
disliked this video.
It was the owner's nephew that was cutting my hair.
He was nepotism.
And
He
then
wasn't actually a good
Nepotism.
barber.
so after
Yeah.
after that, I actually swapped to the Puerto Rican guy that was like the next chair over, and he's been cutting my hair ever since. no conversation, like very like minimal conversation, like yo, how's your day, bro? You know, how's the wife and kids, all that stuff, because he's married, whatever. And it's just like,
Oh, I thought you
so-
meant he was asking you how was
yeah,
your
no,
wife
he's
and
like,
kids?
I'm not married, I don't have kids. Like,
Yeah, Aditya, how's your wife and kids?
they're great, you know.
Yeah, it's those
Hanging
rag
out.
dolls behind you. Those
Yeah,
dolls
yeah.
behind you.
Wife
That's my wife and kids back there.
Oh,
But
man. It's just
my
got
wife
really
gave
dark.
birth to
since
like.
then-
So okay, wait, just two things. Dan totally hijacked this conversation because Aditya was about to tell a story about.
I was about to tell you
high school.
tell a story about like social climbing and all that shit.
Yeah.
No,
I'm
like
curious.
I just I
Just
don't know.
start talking about like haircuts.
But this
Yeah, I have no idea
this
where that came
haircut
from.
conversation is like pretty interesting.
Alan and I already had it. Alan and I already listened to the podcast.
No, we talked about hair a lot, so we didn't talk about haircuts.
That's how it started, though. That's how this
Oh,
one
is it?
started. Well, yeah, because Dan was talking about how he changed his
Shit,
Hair
like
washing.
hair washing technique.
Oh yeah.
But like how? No, you were talking about like you were gonna go shower.
Oh right,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
that was it.
No, but have you guys been like getting haircuts like during like after
I've gotten two throughout the
them
pandemic.
too?
Because like
I-
yeah, the
Same.
guy keeps my like he tells everybody just keeps their mask on and
Yeah.
pretty straightforward.
Like I have to
Dude,
do my beard myself. Like
The
it's
mask
actually
is
kind of
so annoying. Like I was getting my haircut, I had my mask on, and when they cut your hair falls down, and it got all in my mask. Like it was
That
so.
happens to you? No, it's never
like,
happened to me.
It falls because like when they cut the front hair, it goes like this, and they cut it here, so it falls straight down. And like there were like these little hairs like pricking my cheek the entire time, and it's not like I could take my mask off, because
Right.
she's like right fucking there. It's like
I relate.
like for 30 minutes, I was like, oh my god, like just please hurry so I can take my mask off in the car.
That's never happened to me before.
But yeah, I've only taken 2 haircuts, and the first haircut I got was like back in the beginning of 2020, and then I recently cut my hair during the winter break, so my hair was dumb long. Like I didn't cut it
Hmm.
for so long.
Yeah,
I
during
hated it.
quarantine, I think I cut my hair 3 or 4 times,
Like at a
and
barber.
I had to do it by appointment. That was the first
Yeah.
time my barber was ever just like, you have to make an appointment. Before I would just text him like, yo, are you free? I'm gonna come in. And now it's just
But have you guys ever considered cutting your own hair?
I actually have.
actually have. I've cut my hair. I've cut my dad's hair because he refused to go to the barber, and it was
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. Because I've been wanting to. I just
Uh-huh.
like I've been too. It's cheaper for me to just pay the $15 or $20 for a haircut. I think for a certain amount of time until I have to buy, instead of buying like a.
Mhm.
I mean, I bought my hair cutting kit like super cheap. It was like budget because I was only gonna use it like twice or 3 times.
Yeah,
and
I got a
bought it for
Conair
like
set. It was like what, $25, $30?
I bought mine for like
That's it?
$50, and I got like the razor, like the
buzzer?
the electric buzzer. I got scissors, and I got like
Yeah, the entire kit, and it comes with
the,
the adjustments.
exactly. It comes with like 6 or 7 different adjustments for like different like numbers. So like it was like great.
And the
But
basic
it's-
the
I'll
basic
probably
thing
have
that
to
I
do that.
did was I just did my sides and I left the top like long.
I did my
Yeah,
sides, and I
I
put
love
my
that
side
style.
down, and I just cut it like evenly.
Yeah.
I like the hairstyle that he has, like the long on top and it kind of goes to one
Yeah.
side.
You just comb it over.
I can't
I'll
pull it
comb
off
over.
though.
Wait, Alan, what'd you say?
I'll comb over.
Yeah.
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 Yee.
Shit.
Wait, how long is the front of your hair? Because like if I bring mine all the way down, I go like to.
So like
under
my hair
nose.
was like longer, like before I had my haircut, my hair was longer than yours. Like it literally covered my entire face if I brought my hair down like this.
Oh wow.
My
But
hair
like
is
if I bring it down
here.
now, it's like maybe like at my eyebrows, and this is like my ideal length. Like I don't want it any longer.
Oh my
than
god! Wait,
this.
are you a K-pop? K-pop? Is this a K-pop person?
K-pop.
In front of us?
Yeah, bro, I'm BTS, man. I'm
Yeah.
part of BTS.
Are you K-pop?
That's racist. All of
I
Korea
am
has disliked
K-pop.
this video.
All right. We already got Russia hating us and Korea. What else? Who else?
All your hair is so like thick and luscious though. Like this is as thick as mine is. It's just like, oh, look at those spaces in between.
It'd be like that.
Sorry, it do be like that sometimes.
But I mean, like, I'm really happy that I got this from my mom because my dad has like very like thin hair. Like he doesn't have a lot of hair, and so like my mom was like, "Thank God you came out with my hair," because like if you had your dad's, like she would have been so sad. Like as a baby, she would have been like, you would have been an ugly baby.
Have you
Thank God I
guys
didn't.
seen those like YouTube ads for like keeps?
Yeah, or
What?
him.
What?
Where you're, like two 2 out of 3 men will experience like male pattern baldness or something like that,
Mhm.
or like 1 out of 3. I don't remember what was the statistic they always gave.
Do you guys use like I don't know. I guess I don't have that big of a problem with hair loss, but like I guess Alan, like, do you use like things like Rogaine and stuff?
No. Wow, way to call me out.
Yeah, I was
But
gonna
no.
say.
No, because like you
I thought
both
this
made
was
the
a safe
freaking hair
space.
loss. You guys both made a hair loss
No.
podcast.
I don't use like Rogaine, but I do take like some supplements, which is like supposedly supposed to help with hair growth.
Oh, right. I
Yeah.
actually like heard of those things.
I have something similar, yeah. So I used Hims for a little while. So I used like the shampoo and like they had biotin supplements.
Yeah.
And it was like 1,600% of the minimum biotin that like the FDA recommends or whatever every day. So it was like my fingernails started growing faster because of it. And
No, it was because of the gloves.
yeah. That's a inside reference. You have to listen to our old podcast for that. And it's up there in the top right corner.
In the video, it looked like you're pointing top left, actually. So you have to do it the other side. Yeah.
Wait. Oh, yeah, because it mirrors it, but not for me. But anyway.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I actually still use a shampoo because they gave me so much shampoo. It was supposed to be 1 month supply, but it would last me like 3 or 4 months. I don't know, like if I was just not using it enough. I don't know. So I still use a shampoo, and then I just switched to a multivitamin that's like just has biotin in it, and that honestly that has helped. Like I do not see as much hair loss in the shower and stuff like that. It also could have been a lot of stress at the time. It also, like I've heard sometimes hair loss just comes in waves. Like sometimes you like your hairline will recede a little bit and then stop for a few years.
Well, yeah, like I have a really interesting like short anecdote. Like my cousin, she like went to pharmacy school, and during like her last year finals week, like she was super stressed out that she experienced immense hair loss, and there was like a huge, like probably this big of a bald patch on the side of her head, like this big.
Holy crap!
Oh my god!
And during that time, she like only wore hats because it was ridiculous. Like it was like this fucking big. And so yeah, like what you're saying, like yeah, it does come in waves. Like she got but that was purely off
Immense
stress.
stress. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, also the other thing is changing diet. So like I really noticed it when I became vegetarian, and so but then
like hair loss.
Yeah. Like I started
Okay.
losing hair. So I think it was a combination of stress because it was like our senior year of college, as well as changing my diet, and so it's definitely a combination of that. But since then I've also really like balanced my diet. Would you take it a casual phone call? What the fuck did you do?
what is your diet? I'm just curious. Like, what are your guys' diet right now?
Alan, you
Awful,
go first.
honestly.
Me first, all right.
Oh, me.
Alan,
wait.
go. Yeah.
Like basically just meat and carbs. I don't eat vegetables.
Damn. Well, I guess I'm like pretty similar. I'm very carnivorous. Like I have meat almost every meal, including freaking breakfast. But like I definitely have
bacon.
veggies.
Yeah, I was gonna say
bacon. Like
Yeah.
bacon sausage in the morning, and then like for dinner I'll have like pork belly or like beef or something. But I always make sure to put some sort of veggie in there because I know how important like greens are.
Yeah.
What about you? Sorry.
I was just go. Sorry. But yeah, mine is I'll definitely like mostly carbs. Okay. Then second veggies, and then I'm actually kind of a liar. I'm more of a pescatarian because I eat fish.
That's good.
It's the only main reason I'm doing it is since I'm still living at home. It's just like the easy thing that like my whole family can do. So it's like a lot of times I'll just bake salmon or something like that, like in the oven.
Dude, that's good, man. Baked salmon is freaking awesome. I love
it.
That
Is
shit.
it is, but I do want to cut it out. So like when I move out, I'm gonna go like full vegetarian. I really want to go vegan. Like I tried it for 2 weeks. I was going to try it for a month, like a year or two ago, and I couldn't even make it a month. So I like ended after 2 weeks because
It's so hard.
Not that it was like hard, like not that I didn't like the diet. It was just hard to actually get the food. Like I didn't like like you actually have to find a good like a Trader Joe's or something that
like the
has all that stuff.
accessibility is like not there.
I spent a few days in Austin, Texas when my cousin lived there, and like they have obviously great barbecue and all that stuff. And at the time I wasn't vegetarian. Like I was not vegetarian at the time, and they had every single place had vegan options, veggie options, every place in Austin.
Really?
They're very
That's
hipster.
insane.
I would expect
in
like it was like
I mean,
anti-vegan.
Texas,
Yeah.
like
Long
to be
Island,
like a big barbecue.
Long Island is
Some like
terrible
steak.
for vegan and vegetarian options. Every restaurant is like their only vegetarian option. Applebee's is terrible. My family ordered from Applebee's the other day. Every single thing has like seafood or chicken in it, like even the salads. And when you like order, it's like removing the meat is not an option. You can remove everything else, but not the meat. So
That's so weird.
I
I
know.
love
Hold the burger.
Applebee's.
So yeah, my diet is some fish, but mostly carbs and veggies. But then, what about you, Aditya?
My diet is mainly rice and some sort of meat, whether it be like chicken, duck, lamb, goat. That's pretty
That's-
much like my diet.
That's
That's
disgusting.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's like so like simple, but yet
It's very
so
simple,
good.
but it's very flexible.
What
too.
about
Yeah.
what about breakfast?
breakfast? I usually skip breakfast.
I've been
don't eat
skipping
breakfast.
breakfast a lot lately too.
I've been doing mostly. If I do eat breakfast, it'd be like a croissant and some coffee.
Mhm.
But it's never like anything like heavy. Like my first big meal is usually just like lunch.
Mm.
Yeah, same.
I mean,
Okay,
I
wait.
had breakfast for the first time today in like a month.
Quick question. So, how's everybody's sleep schedule been since the pandemic?
It's terrible.
Yo, same. It is awful.
It's terrible.
It's been awful lately. I was
Mine
like
was
very good
really
about it
bad.
until recently.
Mine was really bad. Like this week was so Aditya, you're like asking so I played League last night. Like I fucking died last night. I'm not even joking. Like I legit died.
You were on
I,
TFT last night, no?
Exactly, because like so I was waiting for my model to finish training because I had to present it yesterday.
Yeah.
And so like I was up all night waiting for it to finish training. So like I didn't want to sleep because once it finished training, I had to like get the results and then make a PowerPoint presentation.
Uh-huh.
And so like I was on TFT to like stay awake. And so but
Yo,
the
you
night
should just hit
before-
me up. I was still awake.
I didn't know if you're like online or like like you're like passively online.
I'm usually
It says
usually I wake up at like 10, 12 o'clock. And most days, on a good day, I'll wake up at like 12. Most days I wake up at like 1, 2 o'clock. And then I'll sleep at like maybe like 3, 4 in the morning. And
Damn.
that's why I can watch LCK because
it's
they're on
like
at they're on
Korea.
at 3. It's like
Exactly.
3 o'clock in Korea, so I can just watch it. It's on.
Wait.
It's on
Wait, sorry. So what time do you go to bed?
3 a.m.
Okay, yeah, that's about in line with what I do. I go to bed between like 2 and 4, generally, and then high five, bro. And
No, like wait, my camera's out of focus, so I'm trying to bring it back into focus.
so anyway, yeah, and then I'll wake up. Like I can wake up early if I need to get something done. Like if I need to get up by 9.
Like today,
But
I
I'll
woke
normally
up
wake up at
early.
12.
Yeah.
I have learned
Yeah.
my sleep schedule is not that bad.
Really? What is it?
I usually the latest I've been sleeping is at like 2 a.m.
Mm.
That's not bad.
Yeah,
What
I
time do
usually
you
try
get up
for like
consistently?
12 now. I don't get up consistently. I have my alarm set for like 8 and then another one at 8:30 and then I get out of bed at like 10 and sometimes 12.
Actually,
Yep, that's exactly what I do.
actually, 2 nights ago, I actually went to bed at like 6 in the morning.
What time do you get up?
I was trying to stay up like a full day to like try to like cycle my sleep schedule.
Yes. Oh my god, I've done that like at least 2 times by now, and it has not.
I've done
Only
it twice.
twice?
So the first for the year, for the this like
Like 2020?
2020 to 2021. So like December into like January. So like the first time was I went to sleep at like 8 because I couldn't like bear to like stay awake. I had to go to sleep. So I slept at 8 and I woke up at 4.
8 a.m. or 8
8 a.m.
Oh
and I
my
woke up at 4
god.
p.m.
Okay.
8 a.m.
That's like the
Jesus.
exact opposite of what you were hoping for.
And then the second time was 2 nights ago. I went to sleep at 6 after watching LCK because I was like, okay, I can't keep my eyes open because I went to sleep at 4. I mean, I woke up at 4 that night, that day. So I went to sleep 6 the next day,
Mhm.
and then I woke up at like 2 in the afternoon that day.
Oh my God.
Damn. Yeah, yeah, basically a very similar thing that happened to me. The first time I tried to do it, I think I made it like, I stayed up 24 hours and then I made it to like 1 p.m. the next day and I was like, I'm just going to take a quick nap. And then just was out for like
Nope.
8 hours. Woke up at
Power
9
nap.
p.m.
Nope.
Yeah,
That
Just
doesn't
out.
work.
and then I did it again maybe a few weeks later, and this was more recently, and what happened. So I was able to. I basically did the same thing, but I only took a nap for 3 hours.
Mhm.
So I was like, okay, that's reasonable, but I still couldn't go to bed before 4 a.m. So I was up for like 48 hours, like minus 3 hour, like a 3 hour nap.
Right.
And like I admittedly I was kind of addicted to playing Cyberpunk at the time. So
Even
like,
with all the glitches.
dude, it has been largely glitchless for me. Like in the beginning, it would crash every now and then, but other than that, it's been great.
What are you playing on?
Xbox One X.
Okay.
So it's one of the newer Xbox Ones, and I don't plan on getting one of the new Xboxes. But
where did they said most of the glitches were on like PS4, PS5,
yeah,
and PC,
and the original like Xbox One, the first like release version of it.
I think it was like
sure.
it was all like even like on PC they were like you weren't able to run it in like 4K properly.
Oh,
like
my laptop
frame rates
can't.
and
My laptop only has my laptop.
your
My laptop only has
You're
the
rara.
integrated, like Intel integrated graphics card. It doesn't
Oh
have
yeah,
that,
yeah.
So I can't run
okay.
like any games on it.
Just get an external GPU.
What's
Done and done.
Wait, you can do that?
Yeah, you buy an external
get it.
GPU, you plug it in, and then that's where you're running it off of.
How do you like you plug it into a USB?
No, HDMI.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
I might check
We
it
Razer
just
out.
has
opened a
Razer
whole
has
new
like an
world.
external.
Wait, hang on, because I was thinking about building a gaming PC.
No, you're better off building one at that point.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
just
because
build
my
one.
laptop
If
runs,
you're only using your
great.
laptop, then and you want to play games, you either get a gaming laptop, and if you can't afford that, you can also
Well,
get an external.
my
one.
laptop's awesome. It just doesn't have the GPU. So
Right.
yeah, so that might, I don't know, that might be a cheaper solution.
Yeah.
Something about building a like I don't want more than one computer. That's the problem. Like I
I
hate
have one and I
have-
want to build another one.
I have 3 computers in my house right now.
I know it happened. To me. So this is, I know, totally changing topic here, but in college I had a MacBook Pro that was like pretty old, but like I used it all throughout college, and I also had a desktop, like a Dell desktop, and so like just constantly transferring files between those two things, you know, it was always kind of a pain in the ass.
Mhm.
So that's why I have like a really rock solid. It's a Lenovo ThinkPad Carbon X1.
That's a really like robust work laptop. It's a
yeah, exactly.
Really robust workstation.
It is fantastic. I love it. I spent way too much money on it, but I fucking love it.
No, it's worth every single penny.
I think so too.
I've been thinking about getting a ThinkPad.
It was about I got it on like President's Day, which is actually coming up. February 15th is President's Day.
Mhm.
Because Lenovo has a sale then, and it was like $1,600, but like the base price without that would have been like $1,850.
Mhm.
So I got $250 off. But yeah, it does video editing amazing. I can do 4K video editing, which I do a lot. The problem is, which is ironic because there's no graphics card, but the CPU is like it just CPU
It bottlenecks.
stuff will work. But the problem is when you're rendering. So when you're exporting a video, you have to do software rendering. So it does it
Right.
all on the CPU. It doesn't do it because there's no GPU.
Right.
So which is fine. It takes a little bit longer, but like the fact, like you know, like it's great.
Mhm.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Nice.
I'm gonna look up external GPUs.
Damn. But anyways, like I think I was talking about how I died yesterday.
Yeah, no one cares.
I was yeah, fuck you.
Oh wait, before we switch up. Actually, last night because I had the COVID test today, I actually went to bed at like 12 to wake up for like 10 o'clock.
Like
Even
midnight.
though like the night before I like cycled my sleep schedule to wake up at 4 in the afternoon.
What?
Because that day before I went to bed at 6. 2 nights ago I went to bed at 6
Right.
and woke up at 4 yesterday.
Okay.
So last night, after waking up at 4, I went to bed at 12.
AM.
You must have forced
Midnight.
yourself to sleep.
Yeah, I forced myself to sleep.
Yeah.
And
How
then I
long were
woke
you
up
in
at
bed
10.
for?
Huh?
How long
How
were
long
you
was
in
I
bed
in?
for? Like before you fell asleep?
Maybe like 45 minutes to an hour.
Damn, that's like really good.
I
Like,
thought it was
when I-
pretty bad.
When I
Honestly.
force myself to sleep, like I'll like lay there doing absolutely nothing for like an hour and a half to 2 hours, and I'll be like, "Fuck this!" Like, and then I just get out of bed, and then like I just do something.
Yeah, no, I have to like I either watch like a couple YouTube videos and like tire myself out, and then I just turn everything off.
The problem with
then-
me is that when I like start watching YouTube videos, like I'll get into it, And I'm
You
like,
get
"Oh,
you go
shit,
down like a
this is-"
wormhole, right?
Yeah, and then like
Yeah.
I'll watch that one, then the next one, and then like I'll get sick of YouTube, and then I'll like go to Netflix and like watch like an episode of a TV show, and I'll be like, nah, I'm sick of this, and I'll go back to YouTube.
That's what I like about YouTube though. Like you can watch videos that are like 10 minutes long and it's just 10 minutes long and that's all the commitment to it, right? But when you watch
Yeah,
like a Netflix show, you have to watch like a 30-minute show. Or like what
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
watching. Actually watching The Crown on Netflix. Have you guys heard of it?
Mhm.
I've heard
The
of
one
it.
with
I didn't watch
the
it.
about the British royal family, basically
Yeah.
Queen Elizabeth. I'm actually those episodes are an hour long each. So it's just a lot more time commitment because if I sit down to watch like an episode, I have to watch it all the way through.
Watch the whole thing. Yeah, yeah,
I have to finish it.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I feel that.
So that's why I feel like
Yeah.
YouTube videos just
I
are a better
completely
option.
agree. I like to binge. I don't like to binge, but I know that I will if I start a show. So a few years ago, for some reason, I like wasn't using YouTube. Like I was like, all right, I'm not gonna use YouTube for a certain amount of time. And so I would normally, when I'm eating lunch or dinner or something, I'll normally watch a YouTube video. So I replaced that with a Netflix show. So I started watching Sherlock with like the 1.5 hour episodes.
You're screwed. Like you
and-
don't watch Sherlock while you eat.
so so that's what I did.
There's only like 4 or 5 episodes and there's like an hour
Yeah,
and a half long.
There's was it like 4 episodes per season, and there was like 4 seasons or
Yeah.
something like that. And so 16, hey, not bad. So I would do that, and then I was trying to cut down the amount of time I was watching YouTube, which I technically did, but I was still sitting. in
Wait,
front of my
how long do
computer
you
for, like,
take to
an hour.
eat?
15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes.
And you're sitting there watching a show for an hour and a half.
Because I would do that on YouTube. I still do that on YouTube. It's gotten so much worse during the pandemic. I'll eat in like 10, 15 minutes, whatever. And then I'll just fucking bullshit on YouTube. Like I'll just watch random, maybe not suggested videos, but like I'll go through like the channels I like watching,
Mhm.
and then whatever, just look for stuff to watch for like normally at least an hour to 2 hours.
I can only watch when I eat too. I actually watch YouTube videos, but I'm actually the opposite. I look for a video that's like 10 to 15 minutes long, and that video has to end by the time I finish eating. And
Oh
that's the
really?
end-
You
that's
try
the
to?
end of it.
That's the end. Yeah, I'm jealous. I like.
Imagine having self-control.
Yeah, exactly. I did too. You don't also exercise and work out, do you?
I don't.
Oh, thank God. All right, good.
I don't.
'Cause I don't have
The
that.
stomach's building. The stomach's
Yeah.
building. Don't worry.
Good. I was worried. Because
Yes, I can bleed too, you know.
every every day I'm like, I'm gonna get up my 8 a.m. alarm clock, and I'm gonna do
Nope.
like a simple at-home workout
Nope.
before I go downstairs. And like, I've never done it.
I have stairs in my house, and that's my workout. I have 2 flights of
Wow.
stairs. I'm in the.
Wow.
I'm in
Yeah,
my
I was
attic
gonna
right now.
ask if you're in the attic because I see the
Yeah.
ceiling.
Yeah, that's the ceiling. So
That's
it's
the
actually
ceiling?
pretty
Wow,
chilly
that's
up
the
here.
ceiling. Oh my God. It's crazy.
Yeah. But remember how we were supposed to talk about the the social climbing thing?
I
Yes,
still want to hear this story.
I do.
It's actually not even that interesting anymore. That we just like left it off and then just like started talking about a whole bunch of other stuff for like 45 minutes.
I gotta know.
So yeah, what was it? My high school was actually like 1,100 people. So there was like 300 people per grade, about more or less. Why is everyone suddenly wearing glasses though?
Anyway,
And
Included.
I'm sorry, I missed the whole beginning of that story. Can you start over?
It was 1,100 people. 1,100 people.
oh my god. So my high school is like 1,100 people, and that's like 300 people per grade, more or less. And because the school is so small, like everyone pretty much knew everyone. And for me personally, I took it upon myself to actually talk to almost every person in my grade, more or less. And when it came down to it, I actually was friends, and I guess in the right context, friends in like the high school like sense of the word, where you actually like spoke to someone, you were on good terms with them, whatever. And that was what I thought was like the thing to do, right? Like that's what made you popular, right? And by the end of high school, pretty much what happened was came to Adelphi, and I pretty much haven't heard from any of like those people like after the fact. Like I only speak to maybe like one or two people from high school, and I realized that even though you were friends with like those 300, you can say you were friends with those 300 people, but in fact you really weren't, because they didn't know you in any sense of like I guess personally. Like that's why I say when I say I have like four, like three or four close friends, that's what I mean. They know me like personally. They know me at like the back of my hand. They know when something's up. They know when something's wrong, when something's right, or like just me in general. You know.
Mhm.
So do you feel bad that you didn't keep up with more people from high school, or do you think it was just kind of inevitable?
I don't think it was me keeping up with people. I think it's people keeping up with me. You know.
So you think you're the problem?
No. Keeping up in the terms of like oh hey, like catching up.
Mm-hmm.
I would always be the one to like initiate.
Oh, so you did actually like put in effort to stay in touch with people?
No, that's not. I mean, like in high school, right?
Yeah.
So I thought we were
I'm
friends.
talking about like after high school, but
after high school.
yeah.
I mean, more or less, I was the
Mhm.
one to keep in contact.
Mm-hmm.
But then after the fact, I think most people just like. I just realized like most of those friends were friends of convenience.
Mhm.
They were only friends because we were at the same place at the same time, and we didn't hate each other. You know.
Is that how do you feel about that now? Like, do you think that was a bad thing, or just like
I think
kinda
that's
like,
a really good thing.
oh, okay.
I think it's a really good thing because in more recent experiences, I think having more people as friends usually means that there's a lot more, I guess, problems
Hmm.
depending
I
on
agree.
who you're friends with. But usually more people usually means more problems.
Oh,
Because
you don't mean like more? You mean like just more drama, kind of, or like more shit?
not really. I get not. I
Or
wouldn't
you-
say drama. I would
Mm.
say like opinions,
I
Mm.
because
just
they're not always problems, right?
Yeah.
There's not It's
Right.
not always drama. It's just differing opinions.
uh-huh. I don't mean to interrupt, but I like
Yeah.
agree
You
with
already
that.
have.
Like
It's too late.
I think that like it's really hard to find a big group of people who all think the same.
Mhm.
And so if I think that people who have large groups of friends, it's like you're doing that to like for yourself, like I want to have a lot of friends. But like if your friend circle is a lot smaller and close knit, it's more like you're doing it because like you really care about these people and these people are like you all mesh well together. I just think it's harder to find a lot of people who mesh well together than like 3, 4, 5 people who mesh well together. It's like more natural with like 4 or 5 people. So like I completely agree with Aditya on that.
So my thing is like it's not that, it's also that you don't have like the same, I guess, mindset. It's also that sometimes you look past some of the things people do that make you still be friends with them, like
Can
so.
you give like an example of one thing?
um
Can you use it in a
um
sentence?
I guess being like a shitty person, and then just like looking past someone being a shitty person.
Because they're your friend, right?
They're your friend, right? Like that's something that, like you said, having like a big friend group, right?
Right,
Like
right,
that's
right.
something that someone would do if they had a big friend group and want to keep that
Oh,
big friend
totally
group. They
agree
would
with
look past
Yeah, I
the
100%
fact
get
that
that.
they're a shitty person.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like, or I mean, on a similar note, like I've had so many friends. No, I shouldn't. That's a weird thing to say. I've had conversations with several of my friends. They're like, "Oh, I like this girl, but I don't want to ask her out because she's in the friend group, and they don't want to like ruin the friend group kind of thing." So it's like the friend group almost
No, I do not
becomes
want to talk about this.
but like it becomes this thing to sustain over the point of the friend group. I mean, like who else? I don't know. So
Right, no, that's happened in my friend group, and it did not. I'm still feeling like the repercussions in my friend group.
because a
Mm.
relationship didn't go well.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, never mind.
because that did
But
happen.
I think that's a problem, not a problem, but I think that's kind of similar to what you're talking about with like when a friend group's too big, where it's just like if there's one shitty person in the friend group kind of thing, or like you might look past it not to like split the friend group up.
Right.
That's kind of like what you guys were originally alluding to or talking about.
Yes.
I might have misunderstood.
No,
Yeah.
for sure. I think having like-minded people, like Dan said, is
Mhm.
definitely something that helps you have like a progressive friend group where you can actually have discussions, mature discussions, and be able to have discussions about pretty much anything. And it's not about agreeing, it's about having that conversation and being able to get something productive out of it.
I could not agree more. I have a quick, interesting story about that, and about how we've all grown as people. Um, One time in high school, I went to Catholic high school, so we're all most of my friends were like actively Catholic, and one of my I introduced two friends from a different friend group, and we were in like some type of group text messaging, whatever, like a group text message, and for some reason one friend was like, "Hey guys, how do you like know for sure if God exists?" You know,
Oh
and
no.
Oh, wait, in a Catholic school?
yeah.
Oh
Oh,
God.
no.
And I'm totally cool to have that conversation. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he was just trying to like, I don't know,
Pick their
doing some soul
brains.
searching or like just asking these honest questions. And then one of my friends who was at the time like absurdly Catholic and is no longer religious at all, but whatever.
The Catholic school for you.
Yeah, exactly. He was like, yo, who the fuck is it? Like he wanted to beat this kid up. And I was
No
like,
way.
what is your, like, they didn't go to the same school but
Right.
it was just like the craziest, weirdest thing. And ever since then, that wasn't like the inciting thing, but like ever since then, I've realized I can't stand when people act immature. And so like that's kind of like when you can't have those grown-up discussions, you just end up saying like bullshit things that you don't actually believe or understand.
Hmm.
That's like a huge, like that annoys the hell out of me. But so both those friends have grown. I've grown, so now we can have those discussions. But
Right.
um, so I totally agree. Like having those grown up discussions is a huge relief.
Like, yeah. I'm gonna be like 100% honest with you guys. Like the people who are in like the physics Discord chat who are active, and like I guess James, you're not as active, but like you're active on like the podcast,
You're being attacked.
Yeah.
Like
Finger is pointed.
I'll honestly tell you that you guys are probably the only like friends that I made in a school that after I left, I still keep in contact with. You guys are probably like the only people that I still keep in contact with because like we all went through that freaking physics experience together and like we know how tough that was. And we freaking, that was like you transitioning from a boy to a man. Like we went through that freaking phase together, like we like came out of that together, so like
No,
I
I
think
totally agree.
Yeah.
James,
that
you should
brings
put
us
this
so
in the
much closer.
outreach video.
This should be the average. Yeah, you're right.
I just believe that brought us like, well, I can't talk for you guys, but that brought me closer to you guys because we went through that together and I saw, oh, these guys like want to achieve the best that they can and I do as well. So that like kind of
No,
like
100%.
was like the key connection between like all of us, I think.
Yeah,
well,
I
for
think
me at least.
that has like it's interesting because like if you suffer together as a group, right? And obviously we weren't suffering like physically, right? But like we were working hard together.
We were suffering, man.
mentally.
Yeah,
I'd say
yeah,
mentally. we were
fair
suffering.
enough. Uh, and Allan had to bear it all because we were always constantly asking him questions. Like, Allan, how do you do this integral? But or actually, no, Allan was just correcting my algebra most of the time. It wasn't even anything complicated. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, like the military shit like that. That's actually how the military uses like techniques to like get soldiers to bond together and stuff. It's like if you're going through hell together, if you're like fucking going through crazy obstacle courses, crawling through the mud, like having people yell at you and like call you names, not like drill sergeants, stuff like that. Like that actually it helps you lift each other up because now it's almost like you have a common enemy, except it's not really like an enemy, right? And so with physics, I think about this a lot as kind of a aside. I think I really wanted to go into psychology instead of physics, but I wanted that challenge in college. Like, so I totally relate to what you were saying, Dan. Like, I think I am a much better person for having gone through something difficult, like a physics undergrad. And like I almost feel like sometimes I chickened out because I didn't continue on to do it in grad school. But like one way that I heard another like a physics major from who's now an adjunct professor also at Adelphi, he was like, I think he went to Geneseo. He went to SUNY Geneseo, and he was like, my physics
Geneseo.
undergrad. whatever, bro. I've
Not
majored in
gonna
math
say,
and physics, not fucking English.
University name calling.
And so he was like, my physics undergrad was the best 4 years of my life that I never want to repeat. And that made total sense to me.
I agree with that
Yeah,
100%.
all right, perfect.
It was awesome, but if
it's like-
someone gave me 100 grand to do it, hell no, I am not going through Adelphi again.
Yeah.
Not because of like the people, but the studies.
Yeah.
I don't want to shave another
Physics
like 20 years
specifically?
off my life.
Yeah, right.
Word.
Wait, 100 grand for physics specifically?
Yeah, like going through physics undergrad, like I probably wouldn't do it.
I wouldn't do it again, but definitely the experiences that I've had in physics undergrad was definitely something that made college memorable. It was definitely physics.
That's all I remember. Like as a physics major, like if you're not studying, you're fucked. Like that's all I remember, just like
And-
freaking studying.
Even like my friend group outside of like Adelphi, like they like gone off and they've broken off into their own like friend groups or whatever. But,
Losers.
like I still have like my core like group that's outside of the physics department, and I have Allan. Allan knows like the other friend group that I have, but it's just like they're separate, but are definitely a lot of I guess passionate and motivated people that I've met. So it's definitely something that I'm happy to have like friends even outside of like after leaving Adelphi is what I'm trying to say. And like keeping
Wait, so
contact with you
after leaving
guys.
Delphi, you've met more passionate, motivated people? Is that what you said?
No. I've realized like
oh,
how
okay, yeah.
like that you guys are like the motivated ones out of like
The
people that I've
motivated
met.
ones.
And even like
within
going to
physics.
like Northeastern, like most of the people that I was in like the classes with, they were mostly like project management majors. They were like industrial engineering majors, supply operations research majors, things like that. And they were mostly like international students. And the community there was like very like strange because they were all mainly like Chinese and like Indian international students. And I was neither Chinese, Indian, or international. So I didn't fit into any of the three groups.
Wow,
There was that many?
four.
There was
All of
that many
China and
international
India
students?
is just like
Yeah, the majority
Damn
of
it,
the majority of the group of the major were those three.
Wow,
or a combination of the two.
the foreigners have ostracized the native.
So I was the one that was
Yeah.
ostracized pretty much. I had no
That's actually
community there. I definitely didn't feel that sense of community I felt at Adelphi when I was at Northeastern because like Dan said in the physics video, like there's just so much more people. And the fact that there was just that many people, there were too many people to like know. Every class I had,
Yeah.
there was just a different face. And a majority of my classes were 50 plus people in lecture halls.
Damn.
So just having like that many people and doing group projects and not being able to like get to know like one person specifically, like it was just very, very like discouraging.
Mm.
And I felt
Well,
like
like-
I was pretty much like by myself for the most part.
Right.
Wait, Alan, what was that school you went to again after Adelphi?
Oh, it was something like
I remember. I don't think it was famous.
NYU?
Probably never
Oh.
heard of it.
Okay.
Somewhere near
yeah,
New
oh,
York City.
okay. Oh, it was
Pace?
probably like some CUNY, right?
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
Columbia.
he went to
Columbia University. It was Columbia University.
What was
Why?
your experience like with people you met there? Like attitudes of people? Were they like passionate about shit, or were they more like, I just want to get a good grade?
So I think that my senior year was actually kind of similar to what Aditya was just describing, but I think that was because like by that point I was taking a lot of classes with like graduate students. Because like they're allowed to take like some senior level classes as part of
They
their
were just there to
requirements.
work and like get the hell out.
Yeah.
That was literally it.
Like when it reached that point, I didn't talk to anyone in my classes because like they were just like sort of there for business. Like they did not want to meet anyone.
Oh, well, because
And it was also very international.
They're probably also a little older.
Some of them were, but like for the most part, they were like
Oh, all right.
our age.
A lot of them were my age at
Yeah.
Northeastern.
Oh, okay. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So by the senior year, I'd say it was like that. But my first year, it was honestly kind of like physics, I'd say. Like I do think it's important that to mention like I did a second undergrad rather than grad school. Like I think the environment is different because like, you know, like
Oh, 100%.
people are still ready to like, you know, party and stuff in their
There
undergrad.
was no parties.
Yeah.
There wasn't any parties.
No, literally, I'd be like, "Yo, do you guys want to like go to a bar or something?" I haven't like been out in Boston at all. Like, I
Are
went
you
out like
serious?
once at the end of like one like complex networks class, and that was a physics class, by the way.
Oh,
That
wow.
was like the only class where I
That
actually had
fucking
like a sense
explains it.
of like community. Was a physics class in grad school. Can you believe that?
That is surprising.
That was it was insane. It was actually the guy that made the like that genre of like science.
What was it?
Barabasi.
Complex
It was
theories.
network science.
And what was his name? Sorry, I accidentally cut you off.
Barabasi.
Barabasi.
Albert Barabasi or something like that. He's like a famous I don't remember if he's Hungarian or not.
Have you heard
scientist,
of-
That's quite the name.
physicist.
Have you heard of Eugene Hecht? He's kind of like
No
the
way, really?
father of
Eugene
optics.
Hecht?
I have a
Who's-
science textbook from him.
I know, which is actually very cool.
But yeah, this
get
guy
my
was like on
physics
like on like documentaries and stuff because he
oh,
actually
that's so
like,
fucking cool.
he actually made the science of like networks and like network analysis
So,
and
Damn.
stuff. But
What the fuck is he
I
doing
took
at
his
Northeastern?
class and basically that class was pretty much like having a physics semester like packed into one because we did not only we did physics, we did network analysis, graph theory, and one other thing I forget. But at the end of it, we had to like present like a network analysis on like art history, and you get to do anything in the art history space.
Oh, that's so cool.
And everyone was experiencing like issues and having like a terrible time. And
Like
at the end of it, everyone was just like, "Yo, let's go out, let's go get drinks or whatever." This one person knew a spot in Boston by MIT, and we just went and we had a good time. That was literally the only time I went out in Boston. All the they were, and the fact was there were no international students in that
Oh.
class.
Wow.
all international students have disliked this video.
Yeah.
there were more people from like urban planning and stuff like that. They were like really random majors, and they were just taking this class for an elective.
Mm.
And this professor was treating it like it was like a majors class, even though it was an elective. You've accepted your fate.
Yep. That's exactly it.
Do you guys believe in fate, or is that like
I believe in life after love.
Shut the fuck up.
Sharon
I have disliked this video.
I was just gonna say that. I was just gonna say that.
I don't know. When do you guys start with that one? That's an interesting question.
I do believe in fate, but the thing is that there is always branching paths that always lead to the same fate. So like you can have different choices, but ultimately you'll end up at the same path. On the same like result.
Yeah.
But like, what defines what the end is then? Because like, how do you know that like one of the branches?
Yeah,
isn't
what's the
just a-
generator?
Stop being
function.
I'm not making it discreet for you, all right?
Generating function.
It's probabilistic, all right?
Okay.
Yeah,
I can deal with that.
take the Fourier series for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. So any basis for that? Like just kind of like gut feeling or religion or like
It's mainly gut feeling
okay.
and a little bit of quantum mechanics. Like I actually remember this the first day of quantum. I don't know if you guys remember.
I know exactly what you're gonna say, yeah.
The free
We
will
were-
thing.
Yeah, free will and just having like that ability, and when you map it out, things can be mapped out to like some sort of like statistical number. All the decisions that you make, even like the words coming out of your mouth, can be like statistically like calculated to some degree. And I thought that was very, very like mind-blowing, and I've like stuck on it since. Like that's something that I've even like talked to my other friends on, and they're just like, "You're a psychopath." But I wholeheartedly believe it. Like that is something that should be like taken into account. You know, like that's something that can be like a possibility.
Mhm.
This possibility is a possibility. You know.
I see. I'll go next then, just because I'm kind of going off that. So, from a religious perspective, like I'm still Catholic and all that stuff. So, I do, like I used to always have that attitude, like, oh, whatever happens, kind of like God's plan type thing.
Is it God willing or like something like that?
I guess kind of.
Yeah.
Like
God works in mysterious ways.
yeah, like that kind of that attitude. And but like I don't know exactly when or how it changed, but I've basically changed into complete chaos. Like that's what I think there's no rhyme or reason to anything. I'm still I'm still Catholic, and like obviously I haven't been to mass in a year because of the COVID, but
Right.
So anyway, long story short, if you could take a snapshot of all the particles, know exactly where they are and their momentum, their direction, all that stuff, then you could figure out where they're going, where they're going to collide, and how they're going to interact for every step in the future and for every step where they were in the past. Obviously, it's kind of impossible to know as far as there's no way we would know how to be able to take that measurement, but it's inconsistent, like because entropy is always increasing. That's like what people say, oh, the second law of thermodynamics, right? Entropy is always increasing, so you can't account. I guess I don't know if you can, but people say you can't account for how entropy is going to increase or what rate. So that's always going to be like kind of a wrench in there that you can't control for. So I don't know if that argument still holds, but that's how I tend to think about it. That combined with the fact that you can't know every particle's position and momentum at the same time. So I tend to think everything's complete chaos, and I would think about this a lot in high school. I would get like paralyzed by indecision. I'd be like, I don't know if I should do X or Y because I have no idea how it's going to affect anything. So I know I'm rambling, and I apologize. It happens a lot. Steve Jobs actually has this really interesting quote that I'm going to mess up right now, which is like, believe in religion, believe in fate, believe in destiny, believe in something. He's like, because if you don't believe in something, you're not going to get to your goal. So I don't know if Steve Jobs actually believed in any type of cosmic fate or something like that, but whether or not if he did, he used it as like a tool to like achieve his goal. Because if you really truly believe that everything's chaos, then it's kind of like I totally would feel like, what the hell is the point of anything, right?
You have no purpose.
Exactly. It really. And so I think that having fate, believing that there is some type of fate or whatever, it's like almost like you can make your own in a sense. And like you can make kind of like making your own purpose and all that stuff. Now, all that being said, it is hard to reconcile the viewpoint of like believing in the fact that we're all just kind of moving and it's all random. There's no meaning to anything. It's hard to reconcile that with a religious viewpoint, like being Catholic. So I don't have an answer. But that's just kind of like
all of that was for nothing.
The in-between state that I'm mentally in at the moment. Any response?
You're in a super position, James.
That's a fucking great way to put it. Because it's like kind of like when I die, there'll be a measurement. I'll either be probably in purgatory for a long time, or I'll be nowhere. I'll cease to exist.
So my analogy for purgatory is actually from I forget where it's from. I think it's like South Park or something. Where
profound show. Profound. Yeah.
Which show?
No, I was saying that's a profound source, and Allan said that's a good source.
So, oh, okay. Yeah. It's basically the plane on a runway.
Oh yeah, I remember that episode. They were waiting for Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
But he was stuck in Ike's body.
Yeah.
And he wanted to win a beauty pageant. Great episode.
That's my analogy for purgatory. They're pretty much stuck on a plane on a tarmac. Waiting to take off.
What's his face? C.K. Lewis, right? That's his name. Yeah, he guy that wrote The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, Chronicles of Narnia.
C.S. Lewis.
C.S. Lewis, that guy. Not
that Louis C.K. the
comedian.
Louis C.K. Louis C.K. Lewis.
Yeah. So yeah, C.S. Lewis has a book called The Great Divorce, and it's about exactly that. It's kind of a similar idea. I would highly recommend reading that book just because it's super interesting. But he was also like prominent Christian. I don't think he was Catholic. I think he was like Anglican, I think, because he was in England, I think. But I'll just briefly kind of describe that. So it's like purgatory and hell are the same thing in his book. And you decide whether or not you want to basically make the journey to heaven. Because it's like in order to get to heaven, it's like you have to like let go of everything, every sinful part of you, and then and kind of like harden yourself to become like able to be in the presence of God. And I know it sounds dramatic, but the most interesting part of it was so like you said, waiting in a plane, like on the runway, his analogy was waiting at a bus stop. And like, you can choose to get on the bus and leave and like decide to leave those sinful parts away, or you can choose to stay in purgatory, which is essentially also hell. Kind of weird.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Which would be nice. I would prefer that. I prefer not to be eternally damned and have no choice, you know? Like that would really suck. I'm sorry for that podcast I made, you know. But
So yeah, what's your guys' take on fate, Dan?
God has disliked this video.
Michael Jackson has disliked this video.
Oh no, not Michael Jackson.
JetBlue has disliked this video.
No, JetBlue is great, by the way.
The
Favorite
MTA
airline.
has disliked this video.
I guess my take on this is like kind of more like I consider myself a scientist, you know, like I try to make reason out of everything, but like growing up in a Christian family for my entire life and going to church every Sunday, like
Loser.
I
Hey,
went
let's
to
not
Catholic school, my
dude.
dude.
Religion shame anyone? Hello.
But I like my take on it is that like I agree with Aditya. Like fate is determined. Like there's like your life has a purpose, and like where you go is already determined. And I also agree with Aditya. There are many different ways you can get there, but eventually you get to that one point, you know, like you'll end up there. So
Like the place you're meant to be kind of idea.
right, yeah, like
Where fate has decided you should go.
right. It's like you start at one point and it branches out into like 50 billion other things, and then it all converges back to like that end goal. Like I see that as a thing too. And like people say that like I had discussions with this with like my other like Christian friends, is like does God like plan out your entire life? Like is your life already predetermined, right? And I believe that it's not. Like although God is like almighty and like whatever, like I believe that like we as humans have the ability to change our path. Like we get to, that's us to determine. And I don't think that anyone like, I don't think that God like can like make that your goal, like make something your goal. That's why there's this thing called hell, right? Like if God can predetermine everything, then like we'd all be going to heaven. Like like that'd be really dumb to like even
also
make that a thing.
That's a really interesting thing, kind of in addition to that I remember thinking about or learning about, is like if somebody was able to provide undeniable truth that God existed and whatever, and it followed some certain religion, you know what I mean? Like if there was like video evidence of like some historic religious events and stuff like that, whatever, like you could not reason away that God did not exist or existed, whatever, then that's taking away your free will to believe. You would have to believe at that point. You'd have to believe in God.
That's
And
also
then,
true.
and so it's kind of like what you were saying, like you would have to, like, so like kind of like making that leap of faith is an important step in the process. So
yeah, like I like I had these discussions, and like I believe that like God, he does have a plan for us. Like ideally, you know, like God would want everyone to go to heaven, you know, but there's some really bad people out there and they're definitely not making it to heaven. Like, but it's our decision. Like we get to choose. Like that's why I think we're different than animals. Like that's why I feel like I'm very different from anything you can see in a zoo. Like because the things in the zoo, like they're just animals. They don't like make decisions. Like I guess they make decisions, but like it's not as meaningful as the decisions that we make. So like that's my take on fate. Like I believe that we all have a certain point and we're gonna end up. There's many different options that we can take to get there. And obviously like you can take like a really erratic decision, but in the end, like you're gonna end up being something that like fate has determined.
quick question on that then, for before we get to Allan's, because I'm very curious about Allan's. I'm actually the most curious about Allan's.
I can't wait to disappoint you.
It's so both of you guys sound like you're in similar kind of viewpoints, Aditya and Dan. And so what about people that end up leading really not great lives? Like, you know, classic example, like somebody that's like a murderer, right? Like, were they always destined to be a murderer in that case?
I don't think they were destined to like be a murderer. It's just that the way that, I guess, in terms of having your, I guess, hand dealt to you type of way, you know, like given those I'm gonna bring up like the many worlds, I guess, theory. It's that in another world they lived like a great life, but that's the state that they were in, and those are the decisions that like we saw in this world.
Hmm. So do you actually like think about the many worlds thing a lot?
Yes.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So they were good in like a different timeline, just not this one.
Yes. In a different world. Yeah.
Yo, quick thing. We'll talk about it some other time, but have any of you guys seen Tenet?
No.
No.
I've
Oh,
heard a lot of good things about it.
I
though.
love it. I highly recommend you guys watch it. I actually, if we all buy it on Amazon Prime, then
Watch
we
party?
could do a watch party, dude. Fucking love
We
it.
could do
That'd be awesome.
we could be movie critics.
Oh my god, guys, we could be movie critics, guys.
Out of context.
No, but it's obviously it has to do with like time travel and whatever. So highly recommend.
There was
that.
another movie like that with Will Smith. Gemini Man?
Gemini Man.
I thought he had a clone. Oh,
No,
but
not
is it
Gemini
just
Man. There was another one. There was another one before that.
Hot Tub Time Machine.
No. Looper. Or
Oh,
something like
Loop-
that.
oh.
wait, Looper's not Will Smith though.
No, that's
No, that's Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah,
I was
Yeah,
thinking
yeah.
of like two different movies.
and Bruce Willis.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's
Looper was
uh,
fun.
That's the one with the time travel.
Who directed that? Wasn't it the guy? He directed something recently. And I remember. Yeah, because I remember it's one of those movies I wanted to see.
Director was Ryan Johnson.
Yeah, you guy that directed The Last Jedi. The guy that like the episode
Yeah,
8
you're
that
right.
everybody hated.
He also directed Knives Out.
Yeah, Knives Out. I like that
Yeah.
movie a lot. Anyway,
I like that one too.
all right, Alan, you're gonna
All the suspense.
Yes.
you're gonna take us away.
Okay. So I don't believe in fate like you guys do, I guess. I guess I think you can like there's no predetermined path for you. There's no like one thing that you're like destined to be. I think that like that is just determined by all the actions that you take like in your life. Like I don't think that you're like being pushed towards one place. I think that it's really just up to you. Like I don't believe in a higher power, I guess. But one idea of like it like if we were in a higher like if a higher power did exist, like one concept that I kind of like is that like the world we live in right now is hell. Because like it's like the world we live in right now is like unfair and like bad things can happen and like you can easily just choose to just accept that and like be a bad person like go along with it, but like you can work for yourself to choose to be like a better person, and like that is what like gets you to like heaven or like whatever the equivalent is in this like ideology, I guess. So yeah, I don't know if I necessarily believe in that either, but like that's one that I think is more like if a higher power existed, that's kind of what I would like it to be.
Like almost like you have the choice to make the current world, which is like maybe the only one, closer to heaven or closer to hell.
Yeah, like this is like it is hell, but like you can choose to have it not like contribute to it not being hell.
Mm-hmm.
Or like heaven and hell are like in like a tug of war. type of
Yeah,
thing.
something like that. Like this could also be heaven if we like work to make it heaven, or like I don't know
For
if you, like-
yourself.
You
Yeah.
have a very John Lennon view.
is that what
The
he?
song Imagine? That's like kind of what it is. It's like, whatever the lyrics are of that. He's like, imagine a world with no religion, and then it's like we could be in heaven right now then if there was no religion. So it's kind of like interesting.
Like a utopia, basically.
Yeah.
Like except it's not like utopia. Like you have to
Right.
continue working to have it be good, I guess.
Mm-hmm. But then
Yeah.
what determines what's good? Or who determines what's good and what's bad?
JC, the big JC himself.
Jesus Christ.
John Cena?
Yeah.
John Cena.
John Cena. Yeah. No, Jesus Christ. That's like another argument of C.S. Lewis in his book Mere Christianity. He talks about that. He's like his argument for why God exists is ultimately like there is an innate morality that we have. Like, some things we decide we kind of intuitively know are good, some things we intuitively know are bad. And so like where does that come from? And it's like the whole
Mhm.
beginning of that book, Mere Christianity, is really interesting.
That's a very interesting thing you just said.
What if human
What,
nature?
me?
Yeah, no, James. Yeah, like
Sorry,
the
wait, can you say that again? Nobody ever says that.
what?
Can you just compliment me again? Nobody ever says that.
That was a really interesting thing you said.
Thank you. All right.
Yeah, it's like the innate morality. I like that one.
Yeah,
I
not
like
even
that.
not even my original thought, but I'll take the compliment. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
I
C.S.
would
Lewis. Screw you.
Yeah, no, I agree. No, C.S. Lewis is a really interesting fucking guy. So I would recommend. He also served in World War One. I think he knew R. J.R. Tolkien as well.
Hmm.
So like they were like friends, and the Lord of the Rings also has a lot of religious undertones and stuff as well, like Christian undertones. So interesting stuff.
The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is very religious.
No, yeah, but the Lord of the Rings as well has a lot
Yeah,
of
I know. I'm just bringing that up. Like Lion, the
Yeah,
Witch, and the Wardrobe is like super.
Aslan is like
Aslan is Jesus. Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's literally like word for word. Like
Yeah,
Did you
Actually
say
watched-
Aslan?
Aslan.
Okay.
Aslan.
As with
I
an
don't
N,
remember.
not a D.
I don't know his name. I haven't read. I read that
The
book
Lion,
back in
right?
middle school.
Yeah, the Lion.
Yeah, I actually watched all of like the Lord of the Rings movies over like
My God.
Dude, they're so fucking good.
over like March, like the start of the quarantine. I like
You were
watched-
like, oh, by the time I finish these movies, quarantine will be over.
yeah,
right?"
basically, right? Like they're like 3 fucking weeks long, right?
Yeah.
But no, I watched all of them in a row, and I was just like, wow, the actual storyline put together was something that I haven't like thought was possible.
Did you like watch the Hobbit series as well?
No, I didn't watch The Hobbit.
Good. Don't.
Oh, okay.
It's terrible.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it not?
The book
that-
is great, but like
Uh-huh.
they didn't. I don't know. They're just trying to make money. I guess that's why they stretched it into 3 movies.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
But wait, so quick question then to Dan. No, sorry, not to Dan because you talked about it, but Aditya and Allan. Did you guys have any religious influence in your life, or were you always kind of fairly secular?
I was raised Catholic.
Oh hell yeah, boy! Wait, so then did you go through like baptism,
Yeah, I
Holy
went through it all. I
Eucharist,
had my first communion. I was
confirmation?
confirmed. Yeah, I've got like an extra middle name because I'm confirmed.
What's your extra middle name? What's your confirmation name?
Francis.
Are you serious?
Is that yours?
Yeah, it's mine.
Oh,
St. Francis
I
of
thought you were gonna say no. That's not mine. Really? That's not mine.
That's not mine.
That's crazy.
I thought he was gonna say that too.
Wait, Dan, what's yours?
I'm Christian, so I don't have like we don't get confirmed or anything, so I don't have a middle
All right.
name or
Sucker.
anything.
I got an extra name.
Yeah, bro. So, all right. So, then Aditya. So, did you have any religious?
Raised Hindu, but I follow it, but not like religiously. Like
Is that common?
they like I guess affect my moral decisions, but I don't use it as like a day-to-day like to live by, you know?
I met a few people that said similar things at Adelphi. They're like, yeah,
Mhm.
you know, like I believe in it, but like, yeah.
It doesn't hold as much like influence in my life as it does in some others
Mhm.
that I know, but
So then, do
I
you
mean-
currently consider yourself like a Hindu?
Practicing Hindu, no. Honestly, like it doesn't I guess suit me
Mm.
in terms of like I guess calling myself like a practicing Hindu wouldn't like sit well with me. That's not like something that I would agree with.
Because
But I am Hindu.
I guess it's also kind of like it's so culturally ingrained as well.
Yes.
Like, because I a lot of the people we met at Adelphi that are Muslim, it's similar. Like they're
It's
like
part of
very
your
culturally
yeah.
Muslim, but like they don't like pray 5
Follow
times a
it,
day
yeah.
or they don't like do anything.
Hamid.
Yeah. Fucking put him on blast. Yeah.
Shout out Hamid.
Hamid, who will never be allowed on this podcast.
Hamid
Dis-
disliked this
Hamid
video.
disliked. Yeah, Hamid disliked this video. Yeah.
But
I
when
mean,
it comes
it's
to like
crazy. Oh,
but
sorry.
when it comes to like religious practices, like every year we do like a prayer and like that's fine. Like that's the most I would do.
You're like,
Hmm.
that's fine. I'll allow it.
Like that's that's like there's more, right? Like you have they have like holidays where you fast and you pray and things like that, but I don't always follow it.
Okay, so then, because kind of on the same note, so it's like all around. I have a lot of friends that were very Catholic, you know, growing up and all that stuff, and now are like they wouldn't call themselves atheists, maybe agnostic at the most,
Mhm.
but they would say like, like whatever, I don't like it. It doesn't really affect me. But I know a lot of saints in Catholicism went through similar periods, especially like young males that like, were kind of like in their young 20s, 30s, whatever. And they're like, it doesn't matter. And then all of a sudden they kind of come back to it. And I don't know if it's just because of, like you're not thinking about mortality or whatever when you're younger. And then
It
as
could
you
be a
age, you're
lifestyle.
forced. Well, yeah, exactly. All right. Like I want to party and I don't want to feel guilty about it kind of idea.
Right.
Which I totally would understand. And so then as you get older, you realize like, well, maybe I should repent for the things I did. I don't know. Or maybe it's like, you know what I mean? Or maybe it's like,
Mhm.
I didn't take this religion thing seriously. Now I should, cause like I'm going to die eventually. So, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of it's such a weird thing. And one of the weirdest things about religion to me, and I suppose it's not weird when you think about religion in context, but when you think about it from like a overhead view, right? One of the points of every single major religion is to spread the religion.
Right.
So it's like if that wasn't a point of the religion, if like you weren't told to spread it and save people, whatever, like you just had to like live a good life and maybe lead by example type thing.
Mhm.
I wonder if religion still would persist. Because right, like
Religion gave purpose to like a lot of people's lives back when they
Mhm.
were like growing.
yeah, so kind of like where I was going to go with this is have you guys ever heard of the God of the Gaps theory? I know I've talked about it probably, so I don't know if I've talked to you guys
No,
about it.
I haven't heard of it.
Oppenheimer has a quote where he says he was not really, as far as I'm aware, religious after doing the whole atomic bomb thing. He was just like, you keep on sipping water out of a glass and the water's like science, and then eventually the glass is empty and God's staring at you at the bottom of the glass. And when the first time I heard that, I was like, oh, so he's like admitting that like we can't know everything, or he thinks that we might not be able to know everything, right? Which I thought was pretty cool. And then I thought about it a lot, and I heard about this God of the Gaps theory, which is like, pretty straightforward. Religion will explain the things we do not understand until we understand them. So, perfect example. This is the one that really got me.
Ooh.
Seizures. People used to think that when people had seizures, they were being possessed by a demon or the devil or
Right.
something. And then we found out, we still don't know everything about seizures, but we found out like some neurons are misfiring in their brain, and we can actually stop them or help people have less seizures and things like that and save people from having seizures. And now it's like, but if you read descriptions of like people getting possessed in the Bible, it's like it sounds like a seizure. And so now you could argue that somebody getting a seizure could have been brought on by some evil spirit, right? Like obviously there is some physical thing that they would have to do to get them. So, right, like it's not a perfect theory. Just because we understand it, we might not know exactly why it happens. But right, the same thing in physics, right? We can understand how electromagnetic theory will affect particles, and all that shit. But like we don't know exactly why it behaves that way. Kind of same idea. So long story short, the God of the Gaps is like everything is mysterious until we understand it. So that's I think what Oppenheimer might have been saying. I haven't really looked into it. About like when you see God at the bottom of the glass, it's just like, well, that's just the next thing that you have to figure out. Rather than like, but there also could be a fundamental limit of what we can learn and understand. Maybe we'll never know because we'll end up destroying our planet before we figure it out.
Colonize Mars.
That'd be great. But
Did
anyway,
you hear about like
I've talked long
the
enough.
plan? Like if you want to move to Mars and you can't afford to, you'll be given a job and you have to work off that debt.
It's exactly like what happened with the America.
Yeah, America?
Indentured servitude. Yeah. Crazy, right?
It's insane. Oh, back on the same strain of
Sign me up.
Of seizures not being able to be explained. Back in ancient Greece, when you're having like an important meeting or like you're about to make an important decision and someone sneezes, it was considered to be like the intervention of the gods. That's what they were like.
I've heard about. I thought that was a super because I've heard people say that. I didn't know it came from like literally Greece. Are you serious? That's crazy. Do you think people like manipulated that? Like they pretended to sneeze if they like wanted something to get past?
I guess. I mean, maybe they didn't even know how to like fake a sneeze back then.
You know,
Leave Caesar alive.
yeah. So, yeah, the Romans, same thing as the Greeks.
Oh.
Wow.
You know, it's funny.
Romans
I did
dislike
think
this video.
yeah, all
Persia
of,
liked this video.
I know my history.
but what the hell? I can't remember who it was. I want to say it was like Aristotle, Plato, or Socrates or whatever. Yeah, one of those guys. Whatever. They thought the theory as to why people would sneeze when you know how some people sneeze when they look at a bright light.
Yeah.
Sun
What?
sneezers.
I induce my sneeze by looking at a bright light.
I never knew that.
Really?
Yeah, like
So,
you
yeah.
look up. I look up when I try to sneeze. Like when I'm about to sneeze. Well, this is I'll like I'm getting off topic, but like when I'm about to sneeze, I'll look into the light till I try to sneeze. But anyways, James, what about that?
So, yeah, they've known about that for a while, but sometimes even if you don't feel the sensation of sneeze and you look at a really bright light, it can make you sneeze, like the sun generally. And Veritasium is like this awesome YouTube channel. You guys probably come across it. Yeah, fucking love that YouTube channel. That one of their videos is one of the main reasons I really decided to major in physics. They did a whole video actually about fucking chaos and about like if we have free will or not, and entropy and all that stuff. If this video actually gets put on the internet, I will put the link to that video. It's one of my favorite videos of all time. And he talks about how we could have free will, how there's like if our brains are sensitive enough to quantum mechanics and like the stuff like that, like if because like all the synapses happen and all that stuff, like if the position of momentum of electrons inside our brains is whatever, if our brains are sensitive enough to that type of measurement, then in theory, there's no way to predict. There's a probabilistic way to figure out what our decisions will be, but there's no deterministic way to do it. Anyway, unrelated, he made a great video about sun sneezers. And so Aristotle or whatever was like thought that the sun would cause you to sweat inside your nose, which would irritate your nose, and that's why you'd sneeze. But apparently the reason we do it, which doesn't make sense, because if you felt something really warm on your nose, right, but not necessarily bright, you might not sneeze. So then it's because all the nerves like in your nose or whatever, they can get like over stimulated by the light, because like through your eyeballs or something like that. I don't know.
I was actually gonna suggest that maybe it's like not your nose. It's not the olfactory like system.
Yeah,
It's like your eyes. It's your eyes that does it, because like this is a visual stimulus, not a olfactory stimulus. So I was like, it's definitely has to do with your eyes, not your nose.
I think that's what
Sensory
it came
overload.
to. Something like that. Yeah. I don't pretend to know anything that I'm talking about, so I apologize.
I was
it's probably wrong. It's probably like half right, half wrong.
Half right, half wrong. Yeah, I was like thinking that too. Like it's probably that.
ENTs dislike this video.
ENTs.
EMTs.
ENTs.
No, ENT. Your nose and throat.
Yeah, your nose throat. Yeah.
Oh. Yes.
You didn't know that?
I don't think so, no.
Shame on you, man. Shame on you.
Today
How do
you
you not
learned.
like those ENTs?
I don't know.
How do you
I
not
actually have a long record of hating the ENTs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
ENTs
All
that
ENTs
dislike this video again.
dislike this video.
I've lobbied against ENT funding.
Oh.
Jacques.
But anyway, guys, I think it's been an hour and a half. I think,
What?
Wow.
yeah, I really appreciate this conversation. Does anybody want anything else to add?
Badoodle.
All right.
What?
Thank you for
I'm
your
good.
contribution.